Hey, what's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Tuesday night, August 29th, 2023. It's about 10:30 p.m. here, California time. Latest activity looks like a 2.9 over here across the, just off the coast of Morocco. We're going to jump into the hurricane status right now. Looks like maybe a redefining area of the eye wall of Hurricane Idalia, which is very close now to the Florida area. It is kicking up some tropical wind speeds up here against the Tampa Bay area and areas northward. I noticed those convection bands, they're really kicking up some thunderstorms. Also, the tornado potential is quite high in this area as well. Now, looking at the last couple model runs here, it looks as though this eye wall is going to hit roughly right up in here. I'm really not seeing any type of northeastward movement that they've been claiming was going to happen. So we're kind of continuing to watch that. But it looks like we're getting a re-intensification here of the eye wall. Sometimes it recycles, and that could be a bad sign there before it makes landfall. The latest information statement here from the National Hurricane Center. As of 11 p.m. This is going to be Eastern time, so they should be putting out an update here pretty soon. It was at 110 kilometers sustained winds there, so pretty strong hurricane. And that would make it, I'm pretty certain though, that's close to Category 3 right now. That would be over 111 to 129 mile per hour sustained winds. But I'm not 100% certain yet because they haven't put out a latest update yet. It should come up here pretty soon. Still on track though. Notice the path here showing a little bit more towards the north than originally they had expected here. It looks like I think they had made landfall in previous model runs here just south here into this area, which is the what's that town? Cedar Key. Cedar Key area was originally forecasted to be hit directly with the eye wall, but it looks like right now things are going to be taking a turn up towards the north here, potentially around the Perry area for the eye wall, where it's going to make the landfall. The latest, let me make sure I got the last hour here of data. And as you can see, this is still spinning up quite a few convective bands of thunderstorms there across the Tampa Bay, Sarasota area as well. And let me put in the last 6 hours so you guys can see this path here. Right now, it just kind of wants to go north. There's a little bit of wobble to it. It started to go this way, and now it almost started to go northwest. And it looks like we're getting a redefining of the eye wall right here. Just a little wobble, and these things are very unpredictable, but it's possible we may be looking at a slight turn here towards the northeast, but not 100% certain. So let's check out the numerical models here real quick and see where we're at, see what these guys are forecasting here. Eastern US, Florida down here. This is right now supposedly on their weather forecast model. As we put this here into frame here, well, there's really not a whole lot. Let's go to the, stand by here for a second. All right, mesoscale, HRR model. This is going to be, okay, see, it's most of these models here are still showing kind of a sharp turn to the east, northeast. But we're still, like I say, we haven't really seen that yet, but it should be happening soon according to these weather models. And of course that would put the eye wall directly, well, that would be, let's see here, probably somewhere up in this area that I mentioned around Perry area, maybe a little bit south, but roughly within this area. I don't think it's going to hit the Tallahassee area directly head on, but again, it's something got to watch, and these things are very unpredictable. Let's see what else we got here as far as information goes. There's the track line there. Again, it's a little bit further on that cone of uncertainty. Remember, the cone stretched roughly from right here to about over here. yesterday in the previous model runs. So this path here that the hurricane's taking is definitely more towards the left side of the cone of uncertainty. Now we're into a little bit smaller cone of uncertainty, which is still covers, looks like maybe potentially over here Tallahassee area, so we'll continue to watch that. It is very close to making landfall. What are we off here? Not for sure how far we are off the coast as far as let's put this in here real quick, see if we got the latest data. 10:32. Getting close here. Hurricane bands, of course, are going to be, or hurricane winds are going to be really confined here to this eyewall area. Most of the region's going to see the tropical storm force winds, obviously there in the orange color cones. That includes Tampa Bay right now, and a good portion of the area along the west coast of Florida. Hurricane, of course, is going to be, hurricane wind's going to be in that little small brown area right here, as it mentions. So wherever this hits, that's going to be the most damaging area. I wanted to show you guys the National Data Buoy Center here as Hurricane Idalia was moving through the Gulf. It left some measurable wave heights out there across the one buoy station. Let's see if I can bring this up and show you guys. Pretty spectacular, actually. This report is more than 2 hours old, so there was a wave height here of 31.5 feet as the hurricane was heading over the area. 33 feet at 8:26 Central Time with that buoy. 33 feet wave height, and that is probably where the eye wall had just passed over the strongest areas of the wind, and that's actually quite incredible to think that the buoy picked that up out there. It must have gone just right over it with the strongest winds on the eastern side here of the eye wall. This one here, I don't know if this one's working or not. Let's check it out and see. Wind speed, wind direction, getting some good wind gusts out there as well. 38 feet, goodness. Those are knots here. Seeing what we can find for wave height. Not really seeing the wave height on this one. But I'm sure it's pretty, it's a dandy one as well. So, again, we're just kind of watching this. It's a beautiful image. I can't stop looking at the GOES satellite imagery here. Look at this convection band. It's actually gaining some steam. Let me refresh this and make sure it got the latest data here. These are very intense convective bands around the core of that hurricane, and it's possible here. You know, most of the inflow here is going to be from the Gulf. Look at it. It's just like whipping around. Very dangerous system out there. I would not be caught out there anywhere along the coastline right now. Storm surge is sure already coming in. And we'll have to watch this and see how this progression of the eye wall takes place here in the coming hours. But literally, what are we expecting landfall time frame according to these folks here? It looks like 5 a.m. landfall right smack dab there outside of Perry, just where I was chatting about. Look at that sharp turn towards the northeast. So we'll continue to watch. It looks like right now Tallahassee is out of the danger zone and even outside of the cone of uncertainty. Again, you know, originally a lot of people thought it was going to hit the Cedar Key area. Most of the weather models were showing that. These guys are definitely going to get some storm surge, but they're out of the heavy-duty wind as far as the brunt of the system goes. A little bit less populated within this zone here, but there's still obviously communities and people that live out there. So hopefully these guys take heed to all the warnings out there and make sure you evacuate the area if you're in a low-lying region. It's just going to be a little on the dangerous side, and at night as well. You know, it's going to be sometime, they say around 5 for landfall. Could be a little bit sooner. Either way, I think it's still going to be dark, right? I don't think it gets light at 5 a.m. So those folks are probably not getting any sleep out there tonight. All right, folks, I'm going to jump into earthquake activity. And again, we'll try and cover that hurricane here for a little bit. I'm kind of tired, but man, crazy. Anyway, earthquake activity. What do we got here? A little bit of movement across the Mount Rainier area. Doesn't look like anything brewing back up here at Mount St. Helens, but we are going to check the tremor map here tonight. 82 epicenters of tremor, Northern California and the Oregon area as of today. The volcanic seismicity map at Mount St. Helens, that's what we're after. There's some of the earthquake activity popping up over there over the last couple days, right center of the summit area. I'll take a look at the most recent recorded data. It looks like there's still a little bit of activity stirring up here. Looks like some earthquake activity here. Very small ones, very small earthquakes. But this other stuff here, I'm not for sure what that drawn out type activity is. It doesn't look like there's been anything major. There's a couple more earthquakes right there. So this earthquake activity has not completely disappeared yet, according to these graphs, and that's Mount St. Helens here. But it looks like they kind of looks like they stopped reporting on them. That's a USGS there. But obviously there has been some very small earthquakes. We see them on the graph, and that's what earthquakes look like. These well-defined little spikes here. So we'll continue to watch that. A little bit of activity outside of Mount Rainier, but mostly down here around the southwestern edge. Northern California, what do we got up here around Shasta Lake? Looks like a 2.1. Bella Vista area, about 14 kilometers deep. Nothing going on across the Mount Lassen area. The rest of California, if we look at the map here, goodness, it's a little on the quiet side tonight. Los Angeles seen maybe a handful of smaller quakes, but not really seen any major uptick out here for now. Yellowstone National Park, handful of earthquakes as well. And the latest Yellowstone overview here. Let's see what we got for earthquake activity or lack of earthquake activity. A handful of maybe smaller quakes here. I'm not for sure what this reading is here. It kind of looks like, I don't know, wind events maybe, potentially. Hard to say. It did show up here across this station, Purple Mountain area. That's going to be this right here. Like I say, I don't know if we had any weather go through there or not in the last. Well, there's our answer. Let's go back last 6 hours and see. It looks like just a couple small localized storms. This was not a widespread event. And let's put this into motion here. Here comes those thunderstorms, and a lot of times, you know, it looks like it just clipped the. Well, actually got the area pretty good here. There's some more right around the northwest corner of Yellowstone National Park, and that's what we've seen there in the last couple hours. So wind, rain, it could maybe even some hail up there. I don't know how bad the thunderstorms were, but doesn't look like too much earthquake activity taking place there. This almost looks like earthquake activity. See here, the only thing is I don't really see it showing up locally at these other seismograph stations here, so not 100% certain if that's weather related or not, but we'll definitely watch it. All right, worldwide activity. Alaska movement, not a whole lot going on. Couple smaller earthquakes throughout the area. One earthquake up along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, 4.8 earlier this evening. And, of course, deeper activity down here at the Izu Trench and the Mariana Trench. All seen some activity earlier. Goodness, but look at the map right now. A little quiet out here as far as any major movement goes. Getting some activity stirring up out here, again, southeast of Australia. Over the last, I think it's been over the last couple weeks now, we've seen a little bit of uptick out here. There was a 4.6 about a week or so ago. Now we're seeing a 4.4 and a 4.3 out there in the zones that really don't see too much earthquake activity out here in this basin area in between New Zealand and Australia. So something brewing out here. I think it has to do with the stress associated with the plate boundary here across New Zealand. New Zealand's really the only place that hasn't seen any major earthquake activity or any type of adjustment, while other areas around the plate boundary definitely have. Let's check out the Geonet servers here real quick and see what we have. As far as data goes, 3.0 about an hour ago. Looks like outside of Wellington. Aside from that, generally older earthquake activity. Look at the earthquake drums here across New Zealand. There's some of that movement last night. Yeah, looks a little scattered there, right? What's this out here across the Alpine Fault? This looks a little on the active side. Looks like that station's, is that one going to be the closest? Potentially. Down here as well. Looks like something brewing out there around South Island area. Again, just off of the plate boundary. These are generally small earthquakes, but still a little bit on the uptick going on there across, whatever it's going to be these down here. Yeah, I would say it is 3.4 it looks like, and some other smaller earthquakes. Either way, there's definitely a slight uptick going on here across that area of New Zealand. That is just off of the plate boundary, right? And now we're getting this earthquake activity inland, intraplate earthquakes here. So keep a close eye on this area. New Zealand's, I think, primed here for some larger scale movement. Some earthquake activity here across the Java Trench, 5.0, coming in earlier this afternoon. Nothing major going on as far as earthquake activity across the Mediterranean. Generally light earthquake activity, it looks like. 3.3 there again off the coast of Morocco. Some movement up north of the Greenland and Iceland area. But even so, that's generally light movement for now. Not a whole lot going on in South America. A little on the quiet side down there, but just be on guard out here across New Zealand with this type of setup going on. All right, space weather activity. Not a whole lot going on either on this side. 3417 is about the only one I think we're kind of keeping an eye on. But even so, it looks like this is going through a little on the declining phase here. But we do have a couple newer sunspots around the bend that are making their presence known. These two giant sunspots, it's hard to say if they're going to kick up or not. There's still a little complexity within both of those cores. I don't know if we're going to see anything major, though. 75% chance for a C-flare possibility. 15% for M-flare, X-flare, around 1% chance. And we'll just continue to watch that for some uptick. Current Storm Prediction Center, of course, we do have the slight risk for some severe weather out there, mainly due to, well, tornado activity across Tampa, St. Petersburg, Gainesville area. That's all going to be happening overnight. Of course, the wind is a no biggie, right? No, it's a, well, it is a biggie. I meant a no-brainer. There's going to be a lot of wind, but the tornado potential out there is somewhat significant. All right, let's look at the latest imagery here. Tampa getting some good convective bands right now. Here's the last 6 hours of data. A lot of thunderstorms brewing up out there. Look at that eye wall right here. Goodness. I just want to go in the last hour. Look at the northwestern side here. Quite the convective band brewing out here. A lot of convection, thunderstorm activity really developing. We're losing the eye wall slightly, but again, that does happen when the area of circulation pretty much reforms. In this case, it looks like it could be gaining some strength. Now, whether it's going to have enough time to get another significant eye before it reaches landfall, I think it does, because it is only moving at where are we at here? Go back to the National Hurricane Center. Many different outlets you can use. I just kind of stick to the these basic ones. It is moving off towards the 11 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully they update this. This is getting 3 hours old now. Close to that, so they should be updating this pretty soon. Goodness, I thought they were doing hourly updates. But either way, it was moving north at about 18 miles per hour. So at that speed, it's pretty slow. It still does have a little distance before it reaches land, but again, really nothing that's stopping that inflow. All that warm moisture right here is just being sucked in, and that will continue to build the hurricane. So we'll see if this develops a more significant eye before landfall. Let me refresh this, see how our eye wall looks now. See, it's just getting covered slightly, but that's, look at those convective bands. Those are incredible. It's hard to say, folks. Kind of looks like it just made a little jolt here to the northeast, but either way, you know, it's going to be a long night for those folks out there in Florida. Hopefully you guys got out of harm's way. All right, guys, I'm going to call it. We'll catch you guys back here a little bit later tomorrow. Have a good night, and stay safe out there, everyone.